Hi everyone. Okay, yeah, you can hear me. So I am going through and listing a lot of these journals for sale over on my Etsy. I will put a link in the to the Etsy in the description. Some of these journals, either I never did a flip through or I just can't find it, and I just want to get done with this and not hunt through the thousands and thousands of videos that I have. So I'm just recording new ones for all the ones I can't easily find or quickly find. This was one of the first art journals that I made out of an altered book. So when I first started making art, I was basically an altered book artist. And I think I had been doing that for a couple of years when someone showed me I want to say it was maybe Tisha Moore. I'm not really sure. Anyway, someone showed me a popular art journal artist, and I was like, OMG, I want to do art journaling. But I didn't know like what kind of journal to buy. Back then, everyone was buying just moleskin journals, and I still had an extreme amount of love for altered books because I love altered books. And I was like, why can't I just take an altered book but use it as an art journal? And for me, the difference really in there is that an altered book isn't necessarily supposed to cover your daily life or all the personal things. It's really supposed to be kind of thematic and more art directed, more creating a piece of art than it is just creating a journal. But I decided to just go for it and combine the two because I could and no one could stop me, right? And I think it actually like created this huge trend, although I'm sure there were other people doing it too. I just didn't know about them. But for me, it was very pivotal in my journey as an artist. So I used to always paint the covers of all of my journals, and this one is no exception. It is basically like the paste paper sort of technique, just done on a hardcover journal. And when it was all done, I sealed it, and I believe this has probably been waxed as well. So it's you can just wipe it off with a cloth. But the entire book is, the outside is done, and you can tell, I mean, it's very textured. It's fun to touch. Okay, so this journal basically takes place from about late 2010 into 2011. I had a full-time job at the time as a programmer and coding and basically sort of in a supervisory role, and I absolutely was completely burnt out, and it felt like it was soul eating to go every day. And so there's a lot of stuff in here where I kind of talk about wanting to just break away and get out of that, and thinking that maybe I could use art as a way to bridge the gap between my misery of my daily grind and the fact that my daughter was reaching an age where she was moving out. She was turning 18. So there's a lot of stuff in here that talks about that kind of thing, but as well, it's really just me actually learning how to draw. Especially faces. I had no idea how to, and I really learned it pretty much just on my own, trial and error. I watched a lot of oil painters because there were a lot of videos online of oil painting faces, and that was mostly what I could find. So I kind of learned, even though I was doing things like acrylics or watercolor, I really fundamentally learned what I was doing by watching oil painters. And again, a lot of it is just sort of collage based. There's a lot of repurposing of my art. I think, yeah, this is this. Actually, this is, you know what, this is probably an oil, no, it's not an oil painting, but anyway, I would make huge face paintings and then chop them up and glue them into my journal, as well as making a lot of my own papers. And you know, I was really into patterns, obviously. And I think it's just all a part of learning. It's all, you know, we all have like a different process. I really loved a lot of my palette paper, so I ended up often just gluing it in. But let me try to flip a little bit quicker, or we'll be here forever talking. So I'm not really going to talk anymore. I'll keep talking because I don't have video software right now. I just have what comes with Windows, and it's really terrible. That's supposed to be a self-portrait. It's not a good video editing software, and I have more of my palette paper. I don't have a lot of editing skills with other programs, only the one, and I can't afford it right now. I was also really love texture, and I didn't feel like everything had to look like nice and pretty. Oops, I'm missing a page. Some of these pages as well, like this one, I had to glue it together because I used, what are they called? Those pens that are glossy. There's only a few like that, but those pens that are glossy, and they would stick, and I didn't realize that they would stick. So a few pages got ruined over just from the period of time of it being shut all the time. If you tried to pry this open, I've tried before, and it just rips the page, so it's just glued shut. But there's only one or two like that in here, I promise. This was a video, I think, that I did on my YouTube channel. A lot of these were actually videos, but I really don't know where all of the videos are, and I didn't want to search for them. But you'll find a lot of these are my older original videos. Let's see. I think I don't really know why this is solid black, but it is, and it's kind of cool, and I'm fine with it. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time trying to do anything with these pages that are unfinished. You're just gonna get them as they are. I think that they're representative of the journal. You know what I mean? Like, I don't really want to add 2020 art into a journal that is from 2011. So it's just going to stay the way it is. This was one of the first times I started doing like intentional cutouts and things in my journals. I know everyone does it now, but this is something I was doing back in 2010. And this one, I want to say, was an oil painting. It's hard to tell on some of them, but I think it might have been. No, I didn't miss one. Okay. Really into metallics. I do love metallics. This was a portrait I did of my daughter. I've tossed in these little bookmarks that other people have sent to me over the years. I pretty much have been trying to put at least one in each journal. Can't guarantee it because I don't have enough for every journal. And a lot of the times I did leave the original content of the book, because this originally was an art textbook. So sometimes I kept it just because I loved it, and I was super into making my own spray inks back in this time. So there's just a ton of just spray inked pages, and I just was super happy with it. Like, I just love the way this looks. So I just didn't make art. I felt like it was art enough, I guess, if that makes sense. A lot of experimentation in this too. Like, this is a piece of fabric. I was just trying to see what happens if I glue it in and then I spray ink over it. You know, a lot of stuff like that going on. Talking about things like feeling alone when you're in a crowd. There's a lot of that kind of stuff in here because I really was grappling with what to do about my career and my feelings about my career at the time. It was very difficult. Now, there are a few pages where I didn't do anything. I'm not really sure why I left them. Sometimes I think it was just because I liked the art and just didn't even want to change it. Yeah. And again, some of these, like this is an original that I scanned, and it's part of an actual collage, digital collage collection I sell on my Etsy. So there's a lot of fun things in these journals, frankly, that I have forgotten about myself. I wanted to have a Buddha-like stencil or mask, so I just cut one out and I just kept spray painting, not spray painting, but using spray inks to test and see how it looked. I really did have fun with spray inks for the longest time. I probably should go back to working with them more because they are super fun. There are a few more of these than I thought, where I just liked it as it was and didn't go further with it. And as usual, there's an upside down page or two in pretty much every journal I make. These are the pens that I was talking about. I can't think of what they're called, but if you don't seal over them and you close the page, they tend to stick, especially if they're on both sides. For first forays at doing things like drawing birds, you can see my faces, how very simple and basic they were back then. Oh, I drew a cow and a bird upside down as well. Oh, and I did this whole page upside down. So yeah, I tend to do things upside down sometimes. This is a quote from George Carlin. I love George Carlin, by the way. When you're born, you get a ticket to the freak show. When you're born in America, you get a front row seat. Anyway, okay, so that is it. That is this journal. It is going up on Etsy, and I hope that she finds a home with someone who can appreciate the time and effort it went into this, as well as the creativity of saying, you know, I love altered books. Let's make them into a journal. Thanks so much for watching.